Let me move on. Mosque. What is a mosque? What does the mosque mean? And there is opposition to mosque. Mosque in Arabic is masjid, which simply means a place of prostration. You've heard that wonderful verse from the Islamic tradition. One prostration of prayer to God liberates you from 1,000 prostrations to your ego. So spiritual practices are very, very important. The story I love the best about the mosque is that little mosque in Medina in the 7th century, when Prophet Muhammad had a mosque built just next to his house. And of course, he would pray 5 times a day, but he would also receive many, many delegations of Christians and Jews. And he would beg them, he would say, when the time extended and it was the time of Sunday service or Shabbat, he would say, I beg you, please, do the Shabbat, do the Sunday service in the mosque. And they did. And he said, because this is simply a place consecrated to God. So I want us to take that to heart. Can I tell myself, any place of worship, interfaith community, church, a temple, a synagogue, a church, a mosque, is simply a place consecrated to God. In our community, we really encourage people to visit all houses of worship. It really feeds your soul. One more point about the mosque I want to make is that you can pray and pray, but true prayer, as the Qur'an says, there's a wonderful verse in the Qur'an which says, is not about turning your face to the east or west. That's not true piety, says the Qur'an. True piety is transforming yourself into a complete human being and being of service to others. That's a very, very, very important form of prayer. Ask yourself, am I being of service, authentic service to others? I love this 9th century story of Bistami, a very famous Sufi saint, who, fulfilling his Islamic obligation, Muslims are asked, if possible, once in a lifetime, to go to Mecca to perform the pilgrimage. And one of the functions, rituals of the pilgrimage is they go to the grand mosque in Mecca. And I've been there many times. I can even count 52 times I've been there in Mecca, in the grand mosque, which is really an awe-inspiring place. In the middle there is on the side there is the Kaaba, which is draped in black, a square cubical house, which is called symbolically the house of God. You know in what direction every Muslim puts a prayer rug? In the direction of the Kaaba. And one of the rituals is, in the pilgrimage, to go to Mecca in the Grand Mosque and circumambulate that house of God 7 times, counterclockwise. Counterclockwise means eternal time, and this is an imitation of angels. Prophet Muhammad had a vision that angels were going around the throne of God. So part of the pilgrimage is you go to Mecca, go in the Grand Mosque, and have the honor and the pleasure and the sacred joy of going around the Kaaba 7 times, the house of God. So here's Bistami in those days, 9th century, to go to Mecca would take him 1 year. Nowadays you can fly, it's easier. So he's on his journey, on his way to Mecca. He has some money with him, he has accumulated over lifetime. On the way he meets a very poor man who says, Bistami, my family is starving. No matter how much I work, how much I toil, how much I labor, I cannot feed my children. I need help. Bistami says, what can I do? I'm on my way to Mecca for the pilgrimage. He says, please, give me your money. He says, I'm fulfilling my religious duty. I have spent all these years gathering this money, and you want me to give it to you? But what about my pilgrimage? He says, I don't know, but I can just tell you one thing. My family is starving. Please, if you can help me, help me. So Bistami really thought about it. The next morning he had a vision. He got up and he contacted the man and says, please come. He says, what do you want me to do? He says, stand there. The man stood there, and Bistami, he went around him 7 times, gave him all his money and said, my pilgrimage has been completed. And he went back home. So take that story to heart about being of authentic service, trumping your religious ritual. And ask yourself, in what ways am I being of service? I slept and dreamt. Life was joy. I awoke and found life was service. I served, and lo, service was joy. Tagore from India. Wonderful quotation.